If America fails, the chief reason will be because we let our country get sicker, more depressed, fatter, more infertile, at an increasing rate while crippling our national security, bankrupting our national budget with healthcare costs. Every major pillar of the U.S. healthcare system, as a statement of economic fact, makes money when Americans get sick. The most valuable asset in this country today is a sick child. The pharma industry, the hospital industry, and medical school industry make more money when there are more interventions to perform on Americans. We spend 4 times per capita on healthcare than the Italians, but Italians live 7.5 years longer than us on average. And incidentally, Americans had one of the highest life expectancies in the world when I was growing up. Today, we've fallen an average of 6 years behind our European neighbors. Are we lazier and more suicidal than Italians? Or is there a problem with our system? Are there problems with our incentives? Are there problems with our food? 2/3 of American adults and children suffer from chronic health issues. 50 years ago, that number was 1%. When my uncle was president, about 1% of the children in this country had chronic disease. Today, that number may be as high as 60%. In America, 74% of Americans are now overweight or obese, including 50% of our children. 120 years ago, when somebody was obese, they were sent to the circus. There were case reports written about them. Obesity was virtually unknown. Today, almost 50% of teens in the United States are overweight or obese. In Japan, the childhood obesity rate is 3%. Half of Americans have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. And when I was 10 years old and my uncle was president, a typical pediatrician would see 1 case of type 2 of juvenile diabetes during his 40 or 50-year career. Today, 1 out of every 3 children who walk through his office door is diabetic or pre-diabetic. And it's causing, and diabetes, and the same mitochondrial disorder that causes diabetes is also causing the epidemic of Alzheimer's in this country, which is now classified as diabetes. And it's costing this country more than our military budget every year. It is a crisis that 77% of our kids are too disabled to serve in the United States military. In my generation, the odds and rate of autism were about 1 in 10,000. And in my kids' generation, 1 in every 34 children. In the state of California, where I live, it's 1 in 22. And by the way, there has been no change in diagnosis, which is the industry alibi. Study after study, there's been no change in screening either. Study after study shows that this is a change in incidence. We are in the midst of an epidemic.